Hey, what up, everybody? It's your main man, Killer B, doggone witch fighter general. We got a witch. I'll burn it behind up, and got a great show for y'all tonight. This is commemorating Black History Month, and it's on Bayard Rustin, and we're gonna learn a lot about this guy, and we're gonna learn about why most of us never heard of him. I never heard of him until like a few days ago. But we can get right into this clip, and I'll be right back with you.
The problem can never be stated in terms of black and white. And any movement which begins by blotting out the active cooperation of the best minds, many of which are white as well as black, is fighting a losing battle. South Africa doesn't preach freedom. Russia doesn't call itself the leader of the free world. It's America that looks upon herself and represents herself as the leader of the free world, while she has 20 million black people here who aren't even citizens. It is for this reason that America is doomed, and it is for this reason that we who follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad feel that our only hope is not integration with a doomed society.
Bayard was really trying to get Malcolm to see that it's a world community, a human community, a family in the United States. And but Malcolm was talking like Marcus Garvey, separate.
Democratization and socialization the Negro cannot do alone. As we follow this form of mass action and strategic nonviolence, we will not only put pressure on the government, but we will put pressure on other groups which ought by their nature to be allied with us. The problem can never be stated in terms of black and white.
All right. Yeah, he did. He did. And that they used that to discredit him. Also, I was going to talk a little bit about that tonight. What's interesting too? There's a senator in California that's trying to lessen, I guess, or make that law because he was made a sex offender, and the law is say, all right. I don't know if I should talk. I'll talk about this later. You want to talk about it? We're talking about Bayard Rustin. He was a civil rights activist, nonviolence demonstrator, and he was an advocate for gay rights. Right? This guy is very interesting. He's a very talented person. He worked side by side with Martin Luther King. They've also worked with Malcolm X. Medgar Evers, he was a close friend of Medgar Evers also. He was a great organizer. He was actually the person that organized the March on Washington, where Martin Luther King made the great I Have a Dream speech. And what's dope about that too, and I know about art organizing events and stuff like that, he did that in 2 months. That's amazing how many people you can get there. Like he got all those people there in 2 months. And he has been pushed in the background of history and black history also, unfortunately. Right. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I saw that too. I read about that. And it said that I guess Martin Luther King, there was, like you said, packing heat when they were doing the demonstrations, and he got him not to like use weapons. He taught him the idea. He taught Martin Luther King the idea of nonviolent protests. So it's amazing that nobody knows who this guy is. And it's because of his sexuality that he has been I wouldn't say because you can't discredit him. You can't discredit him. He has been pushed to the back of history, to the back burner. And it's kind of unfortunate. It's like you see stuff like that too, a lot of times too. Talented people that's like willing to help achieve things and stuff, that goals, and those people are just used for their knowledge or talents, whatever they need it for, and then thrown on the back burner, and the next person gets all the credit for it. So it's very unfortunate and stuff that this man has been. Yeah. I've been new about over 20 years. Wow, I just learned about him. What you hate about him? If you want, you can come on and we can talk about it. Because I'm new to like learning about him. But there's more research I got to do, but it's been some really great things that I feel that are not paid attention to enough. He has some socialist ideas and stuff. I wouldn't say like I'm into socialism or anything like that, but he had some really great things to bring to the forefront to improve not only America, but improve the world. So a lot of his ideas I see, and it's really funny too, because I see some of the stuff just starting now to play out. Well, do you have any? Hey, what's up, Mary Bennett? All right, right on. He was an agent like William O'Neill. Now, I read about that also. Thank you, Mary Bennett. I read about that also, that there was allegations of him working for the CIA, but there are no evidence to that. No one has ever brought any clear evidence of that. So that's rumor, as far as we know. He started to lean certain ways that didn't agree with people that he worked with, and a lot of those people didn't. They wanted his talent, they wanted his skills, but didn't want to work with him because of his sexuality. They didn't want to work with him. And that there was one guy that actually brought out that charge that you had said about him being he was charged with a sex act with some white boys. The backseat with some white boys or something, right? But this was at a time, and those laws are still in effect today. Say for example, like you're I don't really want to say this, having oral sex or something or whatever, in a car or in outdoors, anywhere that's public, right? You could go on the sex offenders list. But if you were caught having normal sex, you wouldn't be on the sex offenders list. But if you're having any type of, say, anal sex or any type of oral sex, also you go on the sex offenders list. So the anal sex, the oral sex, and there was some other thing too. I forgot what it was. Something else. Some other weird sexual act or whatever. You get put on that sex offenders list. Like today, you hear about people messing with kids or flashing people outside. They go on the sex offender list or whatever. Now you also go on the list here, because I know here you can like get caught like peeing on the side of the building, and next thing you know, you're on the sex offenders list, and all you were doing was peeing on the side of the building because you had to go, or trees, like in the bushes somewhere, like, you know what I mean? So they're trying to revise like those laws to make them fair, because they say that those laws are targeted to, or well, not targeted, but are more, they're unfair to people of other sexual orientations. You know what I'm saying? So that would be, so like two women kissing, that you go on a sex offender list for two women kissing. So this is like the dudes or whatever, like they look at it like, oh shit, you chicks get, but like that would constitute something just the same as having like heterosexual or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? So that's crazy. Yeah, whatever he was doing. Whatever he was doing. Well, it kind of sucks that I just got you and shit to talk to and shit. It's kind of fucked up. But you rocking with me, fuck it. Excuse my language. But I can start reading some stuff about him. He's like, I hate all types of stuff. Like, what do you hate about him? Like, you know what I mean? Let me know about that. It's a trip, man. Hebrew Israelites, boy, I tell you. He also had, like, he debated Malcolm X, which I played in the beginning of the show. And there was another, since you don't know what I got here, there was a picture, I guess, that somebody got. Him talking to Martin Luther King in the tub. So they used that, I guess, to like kind of distance Martin Luther King from him. Because, like, you know what I mean? It was like, yo, this dude, like, you know, he different. But what's fucked up is that these people was fighting, excuse my language, these people was fighting for civil rights. And they was denying Bayard Rustin his civil rights to be who he was. And that's what Bayard Rustin fought for. He fought for the freedom and equality of all people across the board. It wasn't like, if you heard in the beginning, he said, you can't, wait, let me see if I got it. Still he said, like, you can't use black and white. He said you have to look at everything aboard. Like, I'll find some more clips and stuff for him. Let me read this one. Legacy of Bayard Rustin. Bayard Rustin was a prominent African-American civil rights activist. He was an exhausted organizer and his, what the hell is that? Snowplow. that shit sounded like it was coming through my house. That was crazy. Sorry about that. It was snowing and stuff here. Big old snowplows. It was an exhausted organizer that scared the hell out of me. So I'm like, damn, this thing somebody about to drive through my house. And his Quaker-based pacifism galvanized the methods of other civil rights leaders, including Martin Luther King Jr. He was a central force behind the success of the 1963 March on Washington, and he was trusted advisor to MLK. But fellow activists began to distance, began to distance themselves from the brilliant organizer when it seems his sexual identity and controversial past threatened to hamper the reputation of the movement. Despite being ostracized, Rustin continued to fight for human rights and was posthumously honored a Presidential Medal of Freedom for his dedication to civil rights movement. All right. Early years, Bayard Rustin was born in Westchester, Pennsylvania on March 17th, 1912. He was born to a 16-year-old named Florence and an absent father. As a result, Rustin grew close with his maternal grandparents, Jennifer and Julia Rustin, who were Quakers. By the time he graduated high school in 1932, Bayard Rustin had shown incredible potential. At his high school commencement, Rustin was among 6 student speakers chosen from his class in lieu of valedictorian. He also scored the highest among the students in honor points. Armed with the $100 in scholarship money, Bayard Rustin left Pennsylvania to attend Wilberforce University in Ohio. But Rustin's tendency to challenge authority led to tensions between him and the school. By Rustin's own account, years later, he was asked to leave the university after he tried to organize the student strike to improve the quality of the school's food. And at 22 in the United States, still hampered by the Depression, young Bayard Rustin felt aimless. He eventually moved back to Westchester, where he enrolled at the Cheney State Teachers College, a black school founded by Quakers. Impressed by Rustin's intellect, college president Leslie Pinckney Hill, an affluent African-American graduate of Harvard, took Rustin under his wing. Hill encouraged the young man to become socially active and to join the school's anti-war movement before the Second World War. Thus began Rustin's career as an activist. Bayard Rustin's political beliefs were largely shaped by his exposure to outspoken black activists, both by Cheney and within his own family. His grandmother's Quaker beliefs also had a significant influence, in his own words. Rustin came to believe that Quakers' ideas were based on the concept of a single human family and the belief that all members of that family are equal. Hear that? His grandmother's Quaker beliefs also had a significant influence on him, in his words. Rustin came to believe that Quakers' ideas were based on the concept of a single human family and the belief that all members of that family are equal. This ethic will be the motivation behind his activism. So we see here, he wasn't like Malcolm X, that was this all nationalism. It's just black. He wanted to solve these ideas across the board, so everybody gets what they want. Know what I mean? Or have the opportunity to strive for what they're trying to do. They have the voice and the right to contest things to make your situation on this earth, not on this country, this world, on this whole earth, the fair chance to live, to be who you are. Right. In the summer of 1937, Cheney College sent Bayard Rustin to attend a student peace brigade held by the Quaker-based American Friends Service Committee in Arbor, New York. There, Rustin met an older African-American Quaker activist named Norman Whitney, who received the nickname the Bishop due to his strong pacifist stance, which he in turn passed on to young Rustin. All right, man, you killing me in the chat. There's no evidence that he was sent by the CIA. There's no evidence of that. That's rumor. I looked it up. I just finished reading this before I hit the button to come on the show. Yo, this dude is crazy. See, y'all don't be in the chat, yo. You cut these people up and see what they do. See? Crazy. He really tries. Okay, Norman used to say that if he ever doubted the existence of God, he always thought of Bayard. A friend said of Norman and Rustin's bond, because Bayard had come from nowhere, had no opportunity as a young man, and he really educated himself. Rustin eventually left Westchester, and according to John DeMello of his book Lost Prophet: The Life and Times of Bayard Rustin, the reason why remains murky, though the young activist's sexuality may have had something to do with it. Although Rustin never denied his homosexuality, Public homosexuality was considered extremely taboo in his time. The stakes were even higher for black gay men. Around the later part of the 1930s, now this is 1930s, an incident involving Rustin and a gay white man in the area became known. His grandmother and Whitney were both accepting to his identity, but his relationship with Hill soured. Rustin left his hometown and for New York City. This was right at the height of the Harlem Renaissance, when black artists and activists filled the Depression-era city streets with hope. I'm going to do another video on the Harlem Renaissance, and you're going to be surprised who spearheaded that movement. It was there in the heart. Please hit that subscribe button too, so you guys won't miss that video that I was speaking about. And please hit that like button too on the way in. Thank you. There, where the budding activist grew into a prominent civil rights activist. Meanwhile, Bayard Rustin's pacifist ideologies grew stronger amid the outbreak of the World War II. He went so far as to refuse the draft in 1944, for which he was jailed as a contentious objector. Rustin staged speeches and rallies, participated in protests against the U.S. draft and segregationist laws, and launched the first freedom rides through the Deep South. You hear that? He launched the first freedom rides through the Deep South. So when damn, forgot her name. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The lady on the bus. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The lady on the bus. I can't think of her name. I just went blank. Rosa Parks, right? So right along with Rosa Parks, he was doing it too. And he was doing it at a larger scale, right? So he was instrumental for the formation of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, known as the SCLC, alongside Martin Luther King Jr. We hit it off immediately. Rustin recalled their first meeting. King had become acquainted with nonviolent views, through his religious studies. But according to Rustin, King had very limited notions about how a nonviolent protest should be carried out. So we see here that he was doing the whole thing for him. How to do it. He was organizing the rallies, showing them how to do the stuff. You know what I mean? So also I was gonna say, to Yehuda in the chat. Something outside. So I forgot about it. I'll pick it up. Rustin reportedly convinced MLK to get rid of personal firearms for protection and became the primary organizer behind the nonviolent protests. See? He taught Martin the whole flow. He taught him his whole flow. They're going to diss him. Rustin's most notable contribution to the fight for racial equality was no doubt his organization in the 1963 March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. While MLK is remembered as the face of the march because of his electrifying I Have a Dream speech, many credit Bayard Rustin as the influence behind it. Bayard was one of a kind, and his talent was enormous. Eleanor Holmes Norton, who was a volunteer for the march under Rustin's leadership, said, "There have been many marches from the South, but calling people from all over the country to come to Washington, the capital of the United States, was unheard of." Rustin had 2 months to pull off the event, but the challenge didn't deter him. As we follow his form of mass action and strategic nonviolence, Rustin said, "We will not only put pressure on the government, but we will put pressure on the other groups, which ought by the nature be allied with us." It was predicted around 100,000 people would come to the Washington, but on August 28, 1963, the march drew a crowd of 250,000 in front of the Lincoln Memorial, including celebrities like Jackie Robinson, Sammy Davis Jr., cementing it as one of the largest mass rallies in history. 250,000 people he got there. 250,000 in 2 months. But Rustin never quit, received the recognition. Never quit. Never quite. Oh, I'm sorry. But Rustin never quite received the recognition he deserved. It's kind of bad. A decade earlier, he had been arrested for having sex with another man inside a parked vehicle during one of his tour stops in California. He was charged with sexual perversion and forced to register as a sex offender. Opponents of the civil rights movement used Rustin's sexuality to discredit the movement. In fact, just weeks before the march on Washington, FBI J. Edgar Hoover even gave segregationist Senator Strom Thurmond a photo of Rustin talking to King while the latter was bathing, which Thurmond used to imply that the two were lovers and discredit them both. So this dude, J. Edgar Hoover, gave segregationist Senator. Wow. So the FBI chief, he got a picture. Damn, how you get that picture? Got a picture of him with Dr. King in the tub with this nigga standing over him and shit talking to him. Nigga's dirty. So consequently, members of the movement in his circle, including MLK, slowly ostracized Rustin. That's a shame, man. Saying he was the main. Nah, but he dealt with Malcolm X. He dealt with Malcolm X. He actually no. I'm thinking of James Baldwin. But he debated Malcolm X. I played the wrong damn tape. I was supposed to play the other thing first. Hey, Big Doctor picks and recordings. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was looking for it online. I'm like, yo, this picture got to be online. that just shows you, without the internet, people would still do internet shit. People still do internet stuff. So that's crazy. Yeah, thanks for letting me know that. Yep, it figures. And we got what else we got here? It was a personally painful situation for him. I think because he was more disappointed that Dr. King didn't stand up for him or didn't have more backbone, said Walter Neagle, who was Rustin's life partner when he died. But in all fairness to Dr. King and to Bayard understood that this was a political move, and it was probably better for Dr. King to do what he did, politically speaking, in terms of the movement. Right? So he didn't really, he was hurt, but like, you know what I mean? He got himself up. Get over it. Though he was cast aside by fellow activists, Bayard Rustin continued to fight for civil and gay rights. He remained an active speaker, but he never reached the level of leadership he had before. He passed away August 24th, 1987. Rustin's contributions to civil rights movement have been given renewed acknowledgments. His life's work had been chronicled in 7 biographies, and in 2013, Barack Obama awarded Bayard Rustin with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That he was criminalized because of the stigma, bias, and ignorance. Newsom said, with the act of executive clemency, I acknowledge the inherent injustice of this conviction, an injustice that was compounded by his political opponents' use of the record of this case to try to undermine him, his associates, and civil rights movement. Huda, you ain't no joke, man. This dude is like, y'all just reckless. Y'all don't even care. Reckless. But you can say whatever, and he the best man for the job all the way around the board. You got another video I got coming. James Baldwin, another genius, and he was gay too. Genius. All right. Like Ella Baker, Rustin was attracted to the sit-in movement that erupted in February 1st, 1960. He was especially influential with the Nonviolent Action Group that formed at Howard University. Both Baker and Rustin provided inestimable help to the formation of the SNCC in April 1960. Rustin emphasized the economic welfare of Black people. He asked, what is the value of winning access to public accommodations for those who lack money to use them? See? So he wasn't just on the civil rights thing. He was on an economic thing too. I got to get that clip with him. He was the person that read out the demands for, and they said they was kind of like, they didn't even want to let him speak. Like he organized it and they didn't even want to let him speak. That's crazy. So he was the person, and they said that was the agreement for him organizing that march, the March on Washington, that he would have a part in it. So it was like, yo, we gotta have this. Damn, man, we gotta let this dude, man, fucking do this shit. We need that nigga, but damn, nigga, that nigga ain't gotta get up there. I just can imagine what they were saying. And the FBI even had Martin Luther King talking about it. You know what I'm saying? They had wiretaps and stuff for him, like talking about it. It was jacked up, right? So he wanted the Black people in America, all people, be able to have money to be able to be what they want to be and live the way that they need to live for to be happy, to be a human being, to be on earth. You know what I mean? Because we get this one life up on this motherfucker, and we do no matter what, you're gonna do what you gotta do. Like you can let some shit stop you from doing what you gotta do or whatever, but you ain't getting that time back. So he wanted people to be comfortable and have to be able to live the life that, you know what I mean, they should have a right to live. MAG organized a series of campus debates in 1962 under the heading Project Awareness. The first of these was a debate between Rustin and Malcolm X, then a leader of the Nation of Islam. Rustin stood for a total commitment to nonviolence and interrogation of Black people into America's political and economic systems. While Malcolm argued that nationalism would liberate Black America. Stokely Carmichael, then a Howard University student and a NAG leader, claimed later, right? And my man, he helped found it, NAG. He helped founded it, and he working with Stokely Carmichael, claimed later, it was from this point that he had dated that it can be dated that nationalism took a firm root and became dominant inside of the Nonviolent Action Group. At the Debbie, actually, now we're talking about Stokely Carmichael and the Black Panther Party. Black Panther Party was also gay rights advocates too. They also fought for gay rights. Another video I got coming up, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss that video on Angela Davis. Is also a lesbian woman. that fought for the civil rights, and it was in the Black Power movement. Okay. Eat, man. I was trying to eat before I start this, but it didn't happen. Get all this stuff ready. Who did that video? Oh, I said you can come on and talk shit. I forgot to put the link in the chat. My bad. Oh, damn, music is so hard. Marsha Washington. All right, I can find this. All right, here we go. Washington. Yeah. Yes. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, here it is.
Bayard Rustin, Deputy Director of the March, will read the demands.
Friends, at 5 o'clock today, the leaders whom you have heard will go to President.
Wait, hold on a second. Let me get back in the chat. Nigga said, see how far you're willing to go to defend your trusted COINTELPRO. How is this COINTELPRO? Was he part of COINTELPRO? Is there any evidence of that? How was he forced on King? And he accomplished stuff where they couldn't. I don't believe it. But let's listen to the demands here. All y'all weird niggas and shit always be begging for something. So y'all listen what the man's demands. All right. Shit, let me share it so y'all can see it. Let me put the link up in here too. Here you go.
Bayard Rustin, Deputy Director of the March, will read the demands.
Friends, at 5 o'clock today, the leaders whom you have heard will go to President Kennedy to carry the demands of this revolution. It is now time for you to act. I will read each demand and you will respond to it.
Oh, I got you.
So that when Mr. Wilkins and Dr. King and the other 8 leaders go, They are carrying with them the demands which you have given your approval to. The first demand is that we have effective civil rights legislation, no compromise, no filibuster, and that it include public accommodations, decent housing, integrated education, FEPC, and the right to vote. What do you say? Number two, they want that we demand the withholding of federal funds from all programs in which discrimination exists. What do you say?
Is it me, or does it sound like he's like a boxing announcer? But anyway, let me stop playing.
Man, that segregation be ended in every school district in the year 1963. We demand the enforcement of the 14th Amendment, the reducing of congressional representation of states where citizens are disenfranchised.
Something wrong with that, y'all?
We demand an executive order banning discrimination in all housing supported by federal funds.
Look, they gave y'all Negroes that, and what happened? Look at the housing projects now.
We demand that every person in this nation, black or white, be given training and work with dignity to defeat unemployment and automation. We demand.
See? What's wrong with that?
That there be an increase in the national minimum wage so that men may live in dignity.
Y'all don't want to do that now. Y'all don't want to do that.
We finally demand that all of the rights that are given to any citizen be given to black men and men of every minority group, including a strong FEPC. We demand.
This fool in the chat said, I gotta, he said, I gotta cover my ears. I hate this big voice. Unbelievable, man. Man, go ahead with that. I'm not even going to. Oh, it's just weird. This is why I do this, y'all. I hope I can get away with it.
Bring to you the
Yeah, just right here. Anybody want to come in? Links in the chat. Drop it in there again. All right, there go the link. Anybody want to come in and talk? You're welcome. Half of y'all motherfuckers, y'all scared to even look on the video. They say gay rights. I ain't clicking on that shit. No, y'all silly. Something's definitely wrong with y'all. Check this out. That's an awesome quote. The proof that one truly believes is in action.
I am not ready to die. I want no Negro to die. I want no human being to die or to be brutalized, because I thoroughly believe that the struggle can be won without brutalization. We will not tolerate the beating heart of black people any longer. We will stay in these damn streets until every Negro in the country can vote. We call for a nonviolent uprising with people sitting, standing, being arrested, white and black together.
Bayard liked to cause trouble. He caused trouble in very banal and everyday ways. He caused trouble in world historical ways.
We have been told that we will be arrested if we stay here.
Bayard's life was over some 60 years of activism. And almost every major event between the 40s through the 70s, Bayard played a role.
Sit down, I can't sit down. Now won't you sit down, I can't sit down. Just start to heaven while I move around.
I don't think without Bayard Rustin, the modern civil rights movement would have won half of the victories that it won.
That segregation be ended in every school district in the year 1963.
It is hard for me to think of a man who was more talented, a public intellectual, an organizer unequaled in his time. Why did he remain in the background? Why was he an advisor to this, that, or the other great person, but never himself coming forward in the full measure of his great talent?
We need in every community a group of angelic troublemakers. Our power is in our ability to make things unworkable. The only weapon we have is our bodies, and we need to tuck them in places so wheels don't turn. Well, I always been in trouble, 'cause I'm a black-skinned man.
He also did he debated William Buckley. See if I can. Well, I'm gonna hell on around here. But I'm back. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Yehuda, thanks for hanging out. You got a little out of pocket, but you know what I'm saying? I know you try to hold some of it. You were trying and shit. You were trying, but you wasn't bad. Could be better. You just gotta work on it and shit. We get you right. We'll get you right over here. You be right. You be back to a regular person again in no time. I have you back to a regular person in no time. Don't worry. Just keep tuning in, bro. Just keep tuning in. So I'm gonna leave all your comments up there so people can see, because I know a lot of new people gonna be watching this, and they get to see what I go through. That's what it is, 24/7. 24/7. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks to all the people that was watching. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I'm gonna play something short on the way out of here. But yeah, I got that new Josh track too. I ain't gonna play it yet, though. That's gonna be my intro joint. I gotta make me a little intro type joint. I'm gonna drop that. Shout out to Josh for doing that track. So yeah, I gotta make it like a little video with it, so it'll be like my intro video for the show. So I see I can play it. So this shit is long. You know what? I'm just gonna drop something. Here's an interview. Hold on, we didn't hear what this man got to say. Oh, I go.
The two major books.
I'm gonna watch that tonight.
Bring to you
It's interesting. I'll play this on the way out. Sure.
Salam.
Oh, what the hell? That ain't doing nothing wrong.
It's Malik Mujahid. I want to talk to you about something extremely
you off my screen.
This name
That's what I want you to do.
is colloquial.
All right, so have a good night.
With their white counterparts in competition for dwindling work. He asked Bayard Rustin,
the thing I see that is going to happen is that I think it's inevitable, as a part of the collision will be.
Oh, I'm trying to share the screen so y'all can see
and whites will be fighting.
But I got a question real quick. I got questions for y'all.
This process unhappily. Then I think right unemployed, largely out of the example that Negroes have given in the interest of civil rights, such groups as the miners in Hazard and miners in Tennessee, they will then adopt the methodology and the spirit of the Negro revolt. This has already happened. Now, no one is going to pay any attention to the job problem, quite frankly, merely because Negroes are without jobs. This is not because people are devilish, but because the Negroes have been without things for so many hundreds of years. Who is really moved by Negroes being without things? When, however, the white unemployed join with the Negroes in creating social dislocation in the interest of jobs, something will happen. We now know that you cannot get freedom for Negroes by marching in the streets, period. You cannot possibly get jobs for Negroes in a society where millions of white people are unemployed. by asking for your share.
I got a question for the Christians out there. This man has headed, helped develop quite a few Christian organizations or Christian-based or organizations, you could say. What are your opinions on this person and his great works that he have done to get civil rights for blacks, not only for blacks, for other minorities and other people and religions and stuff, to not be discriminated against? And this man just happened to be homosexual. So I would say I just want to ask y'all, what do y'all think about this man? Is this man don't think about his arrest or whatever? That he, according to the reports, he was prostitute. This is after he had something track at. He got kicked out of something for his thing, and he lost his job. And he was all jacked up and stuff. He was like a wild kid. He grew up poor, also, but he got himself out of that to be able to organize such an event as the March on Washington. Would Christians be less willing to work with this man because of some of the things that he partakes in aren't of the Christian faith? And what do you think of people like him starting Christian organizations? So that's the question for the Christians I would like to hear in the comment boards or chat, whatever, smart video, whatever, however y'all want to do it. This is a question. All right.
Care of that cake in the interest of jobs. Something will happen. We now know that you cannot get freedom for Negroes by marching in the streets, period. You cannot possibly get jobs for Negroes in a society where millions of white people are unemployed by asking for your share of that cake. White people do not get their share of it. What we have to do is to say that cake no longer is a good cake to eat. Let's get a new cake in which first and fundamental objective would be we must separate pay from work. The combination of the power of the machine and the skill of the machine.
So they had said that he, I don't know where I heard it, but it had something to do with him that the white people held the most unemployment at 70% in the country or something like that.
No matter what we do, we will never again put all Americans who are capable of work back to work. Teenagers, the aged, and the minorities. Therefore, the first...
They're saying this right now. This is a long time ago. When was this? 1963. They talking about this right now in 2021. Go to Joe Biden's website and see what they talking about on there. They talking about exactly what this man is talking about. They're talking exactly what this man is talking about. Go to Joe Biden's website and see the things that he wants for reform, for prison, for schools, for prisoners to get out of jail and have housing and jobs when they get out. Already set up. And it goes exactly right parallel with what this guy was talking about.
Principles for which I stand, and Negroes will have to increasingly stand for it, as will the white miners in Tennessee and elsewhere. The question is no longer how much does a man get for work, because there is not enough work and cannot be. We have to establish the social principle, make it a part of our constitutional way of life, that a man is paid a decent wage, whether or not this society can put him to work. And this is a profound and radical idea, but it is an idea which will emerge. The Negroes will understand it first.
right,
Cuando un
y'all
niño
have a
es
good night.
abusado sexualmente,
Killer B, the Witch
a
Rider
menudo
General.
se
Y'all gotta wait.
confunde y es posible que no entienda
man,
que lo que le pasó fue abuso. Si un adulto te tocó de alguna manera que te hizo
that's
sentir
whack.
incómodo
You
o
don't
violado,
close. All right, there you go. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night. Killer B, the Witch Rider General. You gotta wait y'all burn their behinds up. All right, peace.